What's up, everybody? It's the Masked Lantern. Two quick things I wanted to say before the podcast started. Number one, I wanted to make a shout out to this guy right here, Scotty Hood. He's the guy who did the thumbnail for me, who made the image of the UTEPC podcast. So big shout out to him. I'll put a link below to his Twitter, his Instagram if he has one, his YouTube channel. If you like D&D and things like that, definitely check him out. And I want to make another shout out to a buddy of mine named Jake. He's the guy who did the intro for me, the music that you hear at the beginning and end. I don't know if he has any media or anything, but if he does, I'll put it somewhere. But yeah, I wanted to make a shout out to those guys. And without further ado, enjoy the show. Welcome to the podcast that talks about everything and nothing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Use the Escape Podcast Part 2, number 2, Episode 2, and Rambling Again. Today, my special guest is my buddy, that one nerdy guy?
Some nerdy guy. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Some nerdy guy, otherwise known as Tyler.
Sup? And we are here today to talk about the very serious subject of video games.
Video games. The most important subject matter of all time.
At all time, all day, every day. Now, we're not here to talk about the rating systems or anything like that, because we could be here for a lot longer if we talked about that stuff and how stupid it is. Or the whole, video games violence, that crap.
Yeah, the politics of video games.
Yeah, no, we're not here to talk about the politics. No. I've made it very clear from the beginning. I'm not here to talk about politics. We're here to have fun. So we're going to talk about how two different gamers kind of just... we're two different gamers, and we like two different things, and why one person likes one thing and one person doesn't. For example, we'll start with the obvious thing, RPGs. I'm not an RPG fan by any stretch of the imagination.
And I am an RPG junkie fanatic.
And let's start with the RPG junkie. What makes you drawn to them? Like, what do you like about RPGs?
I think a lot of what goes into an RPG is how each RPG has a different subgenre of RPG. Mm-hmm. Like, you get a lot of, at least nowadays, they're more real-time action RPGs to get, I guess, more modern players into it, because there are like traditional turn-based RPGs, there's strategy RPGs, there's rogue RPGs, there's dungeon crawler RPGs, there's like all these different subgenres within that same genre. I think that's just really interesting to pick apart, like, what our different RPGs take from one another. And it's a lot of people are turned away from RPGs because of all the tropes that are in RPGs.
There are a lot of them,
especially Japanese RPGs, but those are my favorite out of any other RPGs, because like you get the westernized RPGs like your Skyrim and your, I guess, Dark Souls, because it's popular over here in the West, but it's still made by Bandai Namco, so it's still technically made by a Japanese company, but it's very westernized as an RPG, as the game that it is. But
see, I was gonna say real quick, I found that funny that you consider Dark Souls an RPG.
I mean, it kind of is.
I know. I've played Dark Souls, so I see what you're going for and anything like that. But at the same time, I see it more of a grind fest than anything. And I don't.
That's what a lot of RPGs are.
That is true.
If you play like dungeon crawling RPGs, once you die, you lose everything, and you go all the way back to the beginning. Which Dark Souls is not like that. Dark Souls is just a grind fest, and is just, you die over and over and over again, but at least it's forgiving in the fact that you can go back and regain your souls, or you can go back and regain your weapons. Some rogue RPGs and dungeon crawl RPGs that do that allow you to go back and obtain your stuff, but a lot of them are just like, no, you're done. Like, you gotta go all the way back to the beginning, reset, do it all over again.
And the thing about and the thing about me with RPGs, because going with the Dark Souls thing, I think like I'm surprised that I actually stuck with that as far as I did, considering that even the tutorial level is designed to fucking destroy you.
Yeah.
It's designed to be like, look, we're not sugarcoating this. We're not gonna hold your hand. Nope. This is the game.
Yeah.
This is what you paid for. We're not. There's no. Oh, you fight the little tiny were-rat. No, the were-rat is now 50 stories tall and can kill you in one shot.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that I just found interesting to me. But I think the real reason for me that I'm not an RPG person, and a lot of people would say it, if they know me personally, it's the reading part of it, because I'm not a big long sit down and read person.
Yeah.
I mean I don't, and there is a little truth to that, considering I don't read a lot of books, but I have a lot of books. But I think the main reason for me is I'm just kind of I'm a pick up and play person.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
That's a lot of RPGs are very text heavy, but it really pays off whenever you stick through it, because there are a lot of RPGs when I was a kid. Like, as a kid, I was not an RPG person at all. I just wanted, like you, I wanted to just pick up, play it, and put it down whenever I want to.
Yep.
But, like, once you get past, like, and a lot of them are different, because some of them will get into it faster than others. Like, there's certain RPGs where the text, like, the reading to get into the story and to the environment of what's going on will only take you, like, 10 minutes. But then there's other games, for example, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is one that comes to mind, where the tutorial levels are going on for like chapters after chapters, and you're still learning new mechanics of the game hours and hours and hours in, and it's just like, can I just play it? But I like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I really like it a lot, but that's like an example I can think of where people would probably get annoyed, because there's a lot. And I think it's because RPGs are so long of games that, like, even if you're 20 hours into the game, you're still relatively in the beginning of what the whole picture of the entire game is going to pan out to be. Because, I mean, there's certain games that only take like 25 hours to beat, but then you have games like, I don't know, like Persona 5, where there's so many different minute things that you can do, where it can just take hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours to complete the game. It's like, it gets pretty wild.
Well, yeah, and not on top of that, going with story and everything like that, because RPGs are very story based. But the problem is, like, if you're a new person like me and you want, like, oh, this seems interesting, I want to get involved. A lot of the times, people tell you when it comes to RPGs, you have to play the first game and then work your way to that game that just came out.
Yeah.
And on top of
Kingdom Hearts,
I was gonna get there. But that's a whole different can of worms too, because then you have the sub games and then the whole like small like mobile games and just all the games that are just tied into it just to try to make one coherent story. It's crazy. Kingdom Hearts is one of those games that's like, hey, we're we could make this a thing. We could make this a franchise, and you have.
Yeah, a little bit above and beyond a franchise. You made it a convoluted universe of characters and like some would say bad writing, but I'm not saying I'm giving Kingdom Hearts any crap, but there's some choices that I could have done without. But you know, from what I've seen from the series, there's games that are just like masterpieces, and then there's others where you're like, yeah, I probably could have done without that.
But I think like the real reason, like for me, that RPGs is just not for me by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, and I know a lot of RPGs have turned away from this, the turn based, but there are still ones that are out there that are turn based. It's a hit or miss type of thing with that, where you get things like Kingdom Hearts, where it's
like action,
real time action, and then you get things like
Final Fantasy, at least older Final Fantasy,
or maybe a few Fire Emblem. Yeah, Fire Emblem.
That's like
that's
tactical RPG. Yeah.
I think like the only time I've ever enjoyed, if you want to be, well, technically, if it's technical, tactical, not technical. It's not really an RPG either, but I enjoyed the Command and Conquer series.
Okay, yeah. I've never really dove into those games. I know of them, and I know they're not doing so well with the new one because they decided to put it on phones instead of a PC or console. So
well, the first one I played was for the 64, and technically it was my brother's.
yeah.
So, and I didn't understand the whole concept of build up your unit and go for it.
Yeah.
It was, all right, I have a soldier, attack!
Yeah.
And then get destroyed and just be like, what happened? So what would happen was my brother he'd be the one that would build up the army, build up like tanks, aircrafts, soldiers, everything like that, and he'd be like, all right, take everyone and go.
Yeah. Do it all at once.
Pretty much, yeah, no. And that's what he just like, he would hand us control and be like, go, destroy. And usually we'd wipe them out.
Yeah.
But like, I'm more of the the type of gamer I am. I'm more of the platformer genre and things like that. Kind of like the Batman series. I mean, that's not really.
Yeah.
I know it's not a platform. It's an action adventure
Yeah.
type game. But I like pretty. I'm very like, you know, here's chapter 1, go. Here's chapter 2, go. Here's chapter 3, go.
Yeah.
I don't need to do. I mean, it's optional to do side quests. It's nothing that, you know. It's nothing that you have to do.
Yeah, unless you're playing Final Fantasy 15, then it's just. That is
But like,
bad.
I can only they don't like I'm like there are very few things that a lot of gamers will say that's respect, like, and legitimately have respect for people for things in the world of games. But I feel like one of the things that I have a badge of honor for is in the first Arkham game, I got every single Riddler trophy.
Yeah.
So-
those were really hard to get too. A
Yes.
lot of those were really hard to get.
Because like some of them, like, you know, some of them were literal trophies, and some of them you really had to like think outside the box.
Yeah. I would say that for myself, even though I'm an RPG fan, I suck ass at RPGs. So like there are other games that I'd rather play. Like I usually have to be in the mood to dive into one, because there are a bunch where I'll try out for like 4 to 5 hours, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm kind of done with this right now. But it depends on the game. Like there's ones I'll just dive headfirst into, like Earthbound. Like as soon as I started up that game, I'm like, this is amazing. Like I don't want to stop playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, there are a lot of other genres that I really like a lot. Platformers is probably RPGs and platformers are my two favorite. I really like puzzle games a lot. Different kinds
They're
of
fun.
match 3 puzzle games. Like there's one that I just bought on the DS called Squishy Tank.
I was there when I was with you. I was with you.
And it's just a match 3 puzzle game, and you're like these little tiny, I don't even know what you would call them. They're almost like marshmallows that have anime faces on them, and but they have the tank treads on the sides for some reason, and you have to match 3 boxes, and there's like 4 different colors, and you have to just keep tapping and try to get as much of a streak as possible. And you're on a time limit, so it's like it gets kind of hectic, but it's a pretty easy game, and that's what I like about a lot of puzzle games, because some of them you can just relax and play them and not have to think too much about doing anything.
And it's not like you know, oh, they have tank names. I mean, no, they have like the treads and the fucking like arm cannons and
So like Samus.
kind of. Yeah, this is a real game. But yeah, no, dating sim.
Yeah, tank dating sim.
I mean, this is gonna be weird, but I've told you a little bit that I dabble in the dating sim world.
Yeah.
To an extent. I don't go too deep into it because there's a lot of them in there that I'm just kind of like, even this is dumb to me.
Yeah. Surprisingly, there was a lot of those on the PS2 in Japan. Like I was at the exchange, and they had like an entire collection of just dating sims, and I'm just like, I imagine, I guess that's where the popularity kind of struck for it, was in Japan, and then when it came over here like 10 plus years later, that's almost like how it was for Fire Emblem. Like Fire Emblem was pretty much unknown over here for like the first 3 or 4 games that came out over here, it didn't start getting popular till like 2012, I think. I think that's when Fire Emblem Awakening came out, and that's when like the popularity just peaked, at least over here for Fire Emblem games. And now all the previous ones are like stupid expensive because they never printed that many when they brought it over here because not a lot of people bought it. So
same with here's gonna be a surprise for you. I'm actually a big fan of the Monster Hunter series.
Yeah.
And the reason I say it's a surprise because a lot of people compare that to an RPG.
Yeah.
But if you actually played it,
it's not really.
No, it's not.
I mean, it has RPG elements to it, but it's not like a story-driven RPG.
No,
like.
Well, the newer one, the Monster World, Monster Hunter World. That one is a little more. There's a little more of a like an actual story behind it, unlike Monster Hunter Tri or any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Tri was was one of my favorite ones because it has one of my favorite monsters in the entire series, the Leviathan.
Yeah.
I don't know why I like it so much. It just looks badass. Fuck it when you fight it. But it's just a lot of people always compare it to an RPG, but it's not because you don't level up, you just get stronger.
Yeah.
And like people are like, well, isn't it an RPG? No, it's a little more complicated than that because you are the one that makes yourself stronger. You don't get they don't give you any powers or anything like that. You don't really level up or anything like that. You go out, you kill a monster. If you knock something off, you can mine that thing, and then make a better weapon.
Yeah.
So it's all about making things, crafting things, and things like that.
Yeah. There are like crafting RPGs that I can't think of off the top of my head, but there are certain ones where your objective is to get these different materials. I mean, I don't know, because like I kind of feel like Monster Hunter would fall into the RPG genre a little bit, just because there are a lot of, like I was just saying, there are a lot of RPGs where you have to gather certain items to make a new thing to progress through the story, even though Monster Hunter really isn't a story-driven game, so you're not like, there's no objective other than killing monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, there are RPGs that make you do that, where to progress through the game, you have to find different items and craft a new weapon for yourself because you won't be able to fight the next boss if you don't.
And that's another reason why I like the Monster Hunter series versus in the world of, if it's an RPG or not. I like it. To me, it's not still because you don't need to get other weapons to continue, quote unquote, the story.
Yeah.
But it entices you more to do it because, oh, okay, I have like this sword and shield or this club or whatever. I just killed this dinosaur looking thing. I'm gonna take its stuff. Oh, I get like this jagged sword now. Crap! If I kill this thing, what do I get? Yeah. What do I make? Crap! If I make and like it's not just weapons. Armor is a thing. Just what like things. Just like it makes you want to be like, oh my god, like what do I get?
Yeah.
What does it turn into? Type of thing. Not so much you need to do it because it's the only way to continue the story. It entices you to want to do it.
Yeah, and that, like there are RPGs where it is like required, but then there's times where you're just like, I want to be super OP, so right. I'm gonna max out everything on my whole team just because I can. Like my one manager was telling me, because he's a huge Final Fantasy fan, he told me that he was about midway through the game and he had all of his characters at max level with like all of their max armor, all of their max weapons, just like was obliterating everything, got to the end of the game like no problem, didn't even have to struggle doing anything. And I can't remember how he said he did it. There's a certain area where he was at where there's a certain enemy that gives you a lot of XP, and he was just grinding for hours and just maxed out everything, which I thought was pretty crazy because, like I said, I'm a fan of RPGs, but I'm by no means good at them. So I really just like the stories a lot. So a lot of the time, if I'm not like super super into it, and like the gameplay aspect at least, I'll do like the bare minimum just so I can keep going through the story. Like I'm not gonna sit there and waste 30 hours just to grind levels out. I'm not. There's certain games where I will do that because I think it's fun. Like if the leveling up system is fun, but there's certain ones where it's kind of a drag and you just kind of want to get through the game.
Yeah, no, my one buddy is like your manager where Skyrim, like Skyrim was his thing for like the longest time, and like he maxed out everything 4 times. He played it like he would beat it, max everything out, restart from the beginning, do it again. Like he did this 4 times, and he was so powerful. And I was a witness to this. He was so powerful that he goes, "Hey, want to see me fight the Elder Dragon? Yeah, sure, go fight the Elder Dragon. All right, cool. Watch this. I'm gonna beat the Elder Dragon by only using a shield." And I'm like you're gonna hit the dragon? Like, what do you mean? The entire fight with him versus the Elder Dragon, he defended. He was never offensive at all. But he buffed up the shield to when anyone would hit that person, they would lose a little health. They would, like the person holding the shield would lose health, but the person hitting would lose a lot of health. So like it would basically be the dragon would just bite. So he get down because it's the Elder Dragon. So he get down, then you just potion and then go back into defense. And like it took about, I want to say maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah,
sitting there 20 minutes, but he did it. Like he was never offensive.
That's insane.
He beat the dragon just by using a shield. And I'm just like, I looked at him, I go, dude, you have way too much free time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the parts that I kind of wish that I was more into RPGs back then because I had more time to play them back then, and I just didn't take the initiative and like just play them, because I would buy certain games as a kid just to have them because I thought like, oh, this cover art's cool, or oh, this YouTuber I watch likes this game, so I want to try it. And then I would like pop it in for a couple minutes and then just never touch it again. That's just, it's really shameful now, looking back at it now. It's like I really should have taken the time more to play a lot of those games. That's why I like hang out with my buddy Devin, because he's more into RPGs than I am. Like he's way better at them, and he knows a lot of the obscure ones, at least in modern time, like ones that come out. He'll know when the release date is, when it's like the collector's edition that's coming out for, like he'll know all that stuff. So he's kind of gotten me a lot into it more, because we would have sessions where we would just sit for like 6 to 8 hours and play through like 2 or 3 different games just for me to get a feel for them. And then he would like let me borrow them for a little bit, and then he would come back over and help me if I was stuck on something. Like he's the one who really got me into a lot of those games. Like one in particular was called Romancing Saga, and I know it's a running series. It's been a running series for a long time, but over here I don't think we got it until the PS2, or there might have been ones before that, but that was the first one that I was introduced to. And we had a inside joke with the one character you get to play as. His name's Jamil, and his catchphrase whenever he meets someone, he says very obnoxiously, "My name's Jamil. Pleased to meet you." So we just did that to each other constantly. Anytime we would see each other, like at his work, or if we're hanging out, we'd just make a joke. We just made a joke out of anything, but Jamil was the big joke.
Oh no, we did the same. When Heavy Rain came out, just the entire time, whenever I'd come over to my friend's house, one person would have to say is Jason, and then the entire room was just going, Jason, Jason, because we're intelligent like that. But oh my god, now I'm thinking of Heavy Rain. God damn, that game.
I've never played that game. I've only heard things about it, but I've never played it.
If you ever I never played Heavy Rain, but I played the game prior to it called here it was called Indigo Prophecy.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was called outside of here, but I know we got it as Indigo Prophecy. That game fucked up, dude. Like the dude who I don't mean fucked up in a bad way either. I just mean it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because the whole game, it starts out and you're in this diner, and this cop comes in to use the bath. Oh no, a guy just comes in to use the bathroom, and then the camera, it's all shot like a cinematic scene.
Yeah.
And so when you go into it goes into like this one stall, the door just opens like, and the character that you are, is just sitting there, and he has a knife in his hand, and he just carves shit into his arm, right? And like you can definitely tell that because the scene cuts between the area of the bathroom versus like what is going through this guy's mind. He's like in like this cult type, like I think a dark like room with like the pentagram on the ground or some shit. He goes and he comes up behind this guy and he kills the guy, right? You come to your senses then and you realize, shit, what did I, like, fuck, I just killed this person. So the whole game basically, there's two stories to it. There's you're playing as the killer,
yeah,
and you're playing as the detective to find the killer.
Huh.
So you're trying to find yourself, but at the same time avoiding yourself. But the one scene in it that, like, out of all the things that happened, like that, like the opening scene didn't bother me. The only part in the entire game that honestly like bothered me a little bit, not even a little bit, just a lot, because it's like it has an RPG elements where there's choices, and whatever choices you make impact the game, changes the game, whatever,
Yeah.
So there's a scene where the whole game is based in New York. So there's a scene where you're at Central Park and you're walking. And you see, you're the killer in this point. You see one of the cops from the diner, and it's like, that cop's gonna recognize me, and like I need to like avoid the cop. Well, as you're thinking that, this little kid falls into the water, right? And I forgot to mention this: the entire game is taking place during the winter.
Okay.
So the kid falls into freezing cold water at Central Park. Ooh. So you have two options. Excuse me. You can go save the kid, or you can ignore what just happened and walk away. Of course, if you have a conscience like myself, you immediately go save the kid. Like you're like, no, I want to save the kid. So you go and you get this mini game. You swim down, grab the kid, like bring him back up, and you're like, okay, save the kid. It's all good. Cop recognizes you. You go to jail. Game over.
Oh damn.
So it forces you
to ignore it.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It forces you to be like, nah, fam, he dead. It's like, I'm just like, what? Like, and out of all the things in this game, that's where I'm just like, what?
Yeah, why would they do that?
What? Like, you gave me up until all this point, you gave me options, and now all of a sudden, I don't have options. I just thought of another scene, like even before that, where you're playing as like you're the killer in his apartment, and for whatever reason he has a punching bag hanging. He has a punching bag hanging, so he decides like you go into this mini game hitting the punching bag, and you hit it so hard at the end of it, you like knock it off the chain and you punch through the fucking wall of the apartment. It's fucking weird, dude. But it's definitely a game that if you're into like story-based games and decision-based games like the Mass Effect series and stuff like that, I definitely say pick it up. Like it's a definite pick it up game.
What system is that for?
PS2.
PS2. Okay, because I knew Heavy Rain was on PS3. So okay.
Good luck finding a copy though.
Oh.
They're not No, they're not expensive. They're just really hard to find. eBay. But yeah, actually, this would be a good time to talk about suggestions now, like just kind of suggesting games and things like that.
Earthbound. Can't suggest it enough to anybody, which a lot of people now know about it because of, the popularity of Smash Bros. It kind of gained popularity over the years because of that. So a lot of people know it now, but if you've never played it and you've only played as Ness in Smash Bros., honestly do yourself a favor and go play Earthbound because it is an amazing game. It's kind of one of those, as Angry Video Game Nerd would put it, it's one of the where the fuck do I go kind of games. Mm-hmm. You kind of have to figure everything out yourself, unless if you so choose to, you can have a guide, which I did for a couple portions of the game because like I just could not figure it out, but like I wanted to keep going. So I would highly recommend it, the whole series. Like, even though we never got Mother 3 over here.
Or Mother.
Well, we did eventually because of the Wii U. So, but we didn't have it originally, but we eventually got it on the Wii U. The first Mother, they called it Earthbound Beginnings. So, But yeah, like the entire series. If you can get a ROM of Mother 3, if Nintendo hasn't taken them all down yet, do yourself a favor and play all 3 of them because they're so good. That would be my first suggestion.
I love how I've just had this weird thing. I go, he's gonna say Earthbound.
Yeah.
Mine would have to be. This is more of a for a few of the series, the Sly Cooper series. I'm saying the Sly Cooper series. Now, I want to be very, very clear about this. I'm suggesting Sly 1 through 3. I have nothing against Thieves of Time. I need to go back and finish it, honestly. I like the idea of that one where you actually meet his ancestors, you find out about the Koopa line and all that stuff. I like the PS3 one. The reason I say 1 through 3, all of that, I like the story and all of that, and I like how each one of the games actually progresses.
Yeah.
Like there's actually a form of progression with the game. Like the first game, you mostly play as Sly. There are times you play as Murray, and there's times you play as Bentley, and at the very end of it, you actually play as Inspector Carmelita Fox.
Okay. That's cool.
So like there are elements of playing other characters and stuff like that, but it's mostly Sly. Yeah. Number 2, you actually play as the whole crew.
Oh.
So you play as Sly, Bentley, and Murray, and they all have obviously they have their strong points and their weak points. Like Sly can sneak around and everything like that, but he's not tech savvy and he's not super strong.
Yeah.
Bentley is the brains. He can build things, make things, whatever. He can't really sneak around, or he's not strong. Murray is all brawn. That's his thing. He's all brawn. Not a lot of brain. Yeah. But he's not an idiot. He's just not... He just doesn't have a lot of brain. Nor because he's a hippo.
Yeah, he's kind of big.
He can't really sneak.
Yeah.
So they all work together in their strong points and things like that. Also, I love how in the second one, when you meet Murray for the first time, he refers to himself as the Murray.
The Murray.
The Murray. So he's like, "Fear not, citizen. The Murray is here." And even Sly at that moment's like, "The Murray, the Murray." And then 3 when you actually Band of Thieves, I think it. No, hold on. I don't. Well, basically the third one you actually get more people. It's not just Sly, Bentley, and Murray. You get 4 other people involved in your group. I'm not going to really go into detail about all of them because some of them, 2 of them at least, will be, if you play it, 2 of them are a surprise when you find out later who joins your group.
Okay.
Because it's then they fall back, and again they fall back on the story, like the first game and the second game.
Oh, okay.
So there's an actual lineage, like a lineage, I guess, or
like a continuity.
Yeah, continuity. Yeah. And I like that a lot, and it's just really fun. Like it's honestly a fun game, series. So I'd have to say that. And another reason I like it, especially I like the first one a lot more than the other ones, and that's not because I don't, and this has nothing to do with sequels. I like the sequels. It's just I like the first one how it was made because it goes back to the old school of games, like for NES or 64 or things like that, where you get one hit and then you're dead. But at the same time, that's how the enemies are. They get one hit and then they're dead. And it's a platformer game, so it's like if you die, it's your fault.
Yeah.
There's no it's not like, oh, what the hell, the game did this or the game did that. No, if you die in any shape or form, if you screw up for the most part, it's your fault.
Yeah.
They really heavily. The first one is heavily based around sneaking, being a thief basically, and I like that. So I'd have to say the Sly Cooper 1, 2, and 3.
Cool. Or we just keep going
we're gonna keep going.
I'm kind of just going off the ones that I've played recently for suggestions, because I don't want to give a suggestion if it's a game I haven't played. So the Ni no Kuni series is a very, very good RPG. I mainly like it a lot for its art style more than anything, because it really reminds me of Studio Ghibli. Like it's almost like to a T, like the animation and everything. But it's really cool because it's a action RPG rather than a turn-based RPG. But like at least the second game is the one I've been playing recently. The story's really it's got its tropes like all RPGs do, but like it tries to like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like a fairy tale, like a story, like a fairy tale story, because at the beginning of the game, well, I don't know if I want to talk about spoilers, but at the beginning of the game, you are in the real world as this guy who's a president, and he gets in a car accident, I believe. It's been too long since I've played the beginning part of the game, but he gets in like some kind of car accident, and like he loses consciousness, and he gets put into this world of Ni no Kuni, and he meets this little kid named Evan, and he's trying to become a king because of reasons that I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to just talk about spoilers of the game. But I don't know, it just like the concept kind of was neat, and it's fun, and it's like lighthearted and kind of childish, but I don't know, it's a fun game. And a lot of it, like, you just keep grabbing characters along the way, you meet new people, because the whole concept of the game is combining all of the countries into one and having like an alliance between all your countries. So you become a king, and you have your own kingdom, and you're trying to branch out to these other kingdoms to make one whole.
Okay.
So I think that it was, because it's not just like the RPG gameplay. There's also parts of the game where you're just building your kingdom, and you level them up, and you try to recruit more people to become part of your kingdom. Mm-hmm. So you have more people to get more resources and stuff. I just thought it was a really cool concept.
I would have to say then for my next game, well, probably a lot of people have played it, but Tekken.
Oh, yeah.
Just Tekken.
Yeah.
The newest one that came out is good. I enjoy it. I enjoy 7 a lot. But I have to say, the ones for the PlayStation 2, I actually played a lot more than any of them.
Is that like 4 and 5?
4, 5, maybe 6.
Okay.
No, 6 was no. It'd just be 4, 5. Maybe, like I said, maybe 6. It's hard to say considering that there is like
a lot
of them,
yeah.
And like there's no side. There's no like it's just a game series,
right?
So it just might be 4 and 5, but maybe 6. But the reason I like those ones a lot is I just like the stories in those ones a lot, because like it's like you find out a lot about characters, and like it's like how like the one like it starts out being like it's very vague. The story is very vague on it, but they kind of be like if you play like the story mode to unlock characters and stuff like that. It's like how it starts out being like with like Steve the boxer. It's just very like he's the greatest, and then he's kind of like, oh, the greatest boxer and all this stuff, and like it's like, but he's wondering how can he be the greatest? Why is he the greatest? And then you play the game, and I guess the only way you can figure out why you're the greatest is to beat the shit out of people. But
yeah,
but then then you find out like where Steve has come from and what he really is, and things like that, or like in one of them, I will say that this is a spoiler. I don't know. I think I want to say 4. At the end of 4, if you play the King story mode, which is my boy, he's my favorite. I love King. Love King since the beginning. Mostly because I thought he was a man jaguar. Yeah. Because he doesn't speak, so you think he's a man jaguar. Anyways, there's a man known as I almost said Trevor Murdoch, but that's not true. Might be Trevor Murdoch. But anyways, there's a wrestler guy who he's an MMA guy, and he kills Armored King, right?
Yeah.
And when you're playing, King's pissed. So King's in the tournament to find this guy to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. And
you beat him so bad that he actually goes to the hospital. So at the end of the game, when like the story's playing out, King goes to the hospital because his whole intention is basically to end him.
Yeah.
Like that's literally his intention. He goes there to kill Murdoch. So you're about to kill him, and then he sees on the nightstand, like right in the hospital right by him is a picture of him and his family, his mom and his dad. It's a picture of Mark and his mom and dad. Now, and King, look, this King, because it's a different incarnation of King in this.
Okay.
And from Tekken 3 on, I want to say it's been second King.
Okay.
Tekken 1 and 2, first King.
All right.
That's what I want to say. It might be 1, 2, and 3 is the first King, but I'm pretty sure 3 on has been King 2. And that's who this is. And he has a change of heart. And so he doesn't kill him. But because of you not killing him, that's what goes on to the story of like into 7 and like why. And then you find out. Wait, then you see Armor King again, and you're like, wait, I thought he was dead. Is he not dead? And then that explains a whole new story of like why there's an armored king when armor and like Murdoch is like, no, I am like 100% sure I killed you.
Yeah.
Like there is no doubt in my brain. Like Grant, he's not so much a bad guy. He just has a really bad temper.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. He's not like Heihachi or Kazuka. Those guys are just evil.
Yeah. Or
Brian Fury. Those guys, 100%, they're evil. Like if we were playing D&D, they're chaotic evil.
Yeah.
Everyone else, for the most part, I would say some of them are neutral and some of them are lawful. But those 3 guys, they're chaotic evil.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just like it because they actually have like a good story. And it's weird to say considering that you don't play fighting games for stories, but
yeah, for the most part at least.
For the most part, but they have good stories, and I have to say I enjoyed there's characters in the games that I actually love, and I'm mad that for whatever reason, and I understand for some of them with legal reasons they can't bring back, like from Tekken 3, Gong, the little tiny dinosaur. If you ever played the third one,
yeah.
That legal reasons they can't bring him back because he's not owned by them.
Oh.
So that's why.
Okay.
He's from a manga series owned by someone else, so that's why they can't bring him back. But people like Roger Jr. or Mokujin, things like that, I'm just like, why can't we get them back? You own them.
Yeah.
Give us. I would love it so much if like the next DLC for Tekken is Mokujin or Roger Jr. I'd just be like, yes.
I was gonna say they should just do Tekken Ultimate. Everyone is here, and just bring everybody back.
Even Gong.
Yeah. Like they just found a way. I mean, if Nintendo found a way, they should be able to find a way.
That's fair. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Oh my god, like, because there's so many characters in there that just make no sense, and that's what I love, and that's why I love the Tekken so much. Like Mokujin is literally just wood.
Yeah.
He's a wood. He's a training dummy that became sentient.
Okay.
That's the best way to describe him. Roger Jr. and Roger and Roger Jr. are kangaroos.
Oh, that's cool.
Boxing kangaroos, mind you.
Yeah.
And then there's a literal raptor with boxing gloves.
Nice.
And and then there's Kuma and Panda.
Yeah.
Fucking bears, for God's sakes. We need to move on to yours because I could talk about Tekken forever.
Okay, another game I would highly recommend. Custom Robo, I think, is a very underrated Nintendo series. I'm just going all out with Nintendo shit because I'm a Nintendo.
We're not sponsored.
No. Well, Nintendo doesn't sponsor anybody anyway.
I'm just saying in general, we're not sponsored.
But Custom Robo, it's one of those games that, like a lot of other Nintendo games, we didn't get it over here until later in the series. I think there were 2 of them that were on the Nintendo 64, and we didn't get it until the GameCube. But then we got one after it, which was on the DS, the Custom Robo Arena. But it's a really cool game because it's kind of an RPG, but not really, because you're not leveling up anything. You just get new parts for your robot, and you just fight in an arena. It's kind of cool because it's almost like Pokemon in a way, because your robots are in a little cube, and you throw them into an arena, and then they like come out, and then they start fighting each other. I always thought it was a really cool concept because I like mechas, and I like anime, and I like fucking guns and robots and blowing things up, and it's fun. But it reminds me a lot of Gundam because of the designs of the robots. That's one of the things that kind of drew me towards it. And it's always cool because, and it's kind of funny in a way, because whenever you beat a robot, like beat one of your enemies, you just take their robot from them. You just gain it. You're just like, oh yeah, you have access to this one now. It's like, yeah, I beat you, now give me your fucking robot, you piece of shit. And it's like, that shouldn't be legal, but you get everybody else's robots so you can make yours better and stuff like that.
If you like giant robot games, this isn't really like a fighting game per se, but if you like robot games, you need to try 100-foot robot golf.
100-foot robot golf.
It's amazing.
Add that to my list.
It's amazing. I'll just say it real quick. You basically play. There is a character. I'm just thinking there is a character that you would play as because the robot basically looks like the Megazord.
Oh, cool!
But it's controlled by corgis. It's amazing. Oh my god, it's a good game. 100-foot golf, 100-foot robot golf.
But yeah, with Custom Robo, it's a very short series because like I think the last one that came out was the one on the DS was the last one we got, and I kind of wish that Nintendo would revisit it, which Nintendo needs to do that with a lot of their franchises. There's a lot that have just been lost and forgotten about, or they just for whatever reason don't feel like working on them. But I think Custom Robo would be a really cool concept because like with today's technology, they could even do a thing like Pokemon where it's like, hey, you get all these different pieces and parts for your robot, but you can trade them to other people to get other parts for your robot and like make an online concept out of it. Like obviously online matchmaking, but like also have like online trading where you could like trade different robots to one another. They could even do a thing like Pokemon Go where you can play a mobile game and get like different parts from that and transfer them to the Switch game for Custom Robo and like do it that way. Like I just feel like there's a lot of potential with Custom Robo that just isn't being done for whatever reason. I mean, I think it's kind of dumb in a way where Nintendo, when they say stuff like, oh, well, it didn't sell well, so nobody wants it. They could have said the same thing about Metroid, because the last Metroid game that came out before Samus Returns was the Federation Force, and that game was fucking awful. But they're like, oh, I guess nobody has interest in Metroid. No, it's because you gave us a trash game. We want a good game.
He's very passionate about these things.
Yeah, I just think companies can be a little dumb sometimes because they'll put words in people's mouths, or they'll like make a decision because of a hunch rather than actual fans like saying what they want and what they don't want, which I know they can only do so much. You can't please everybody, but like there are definitely a lot of series that they can go back to that I think a lot of people would enjoy.
Oh no, I agree. I agree entirely, because when it's not even a series, just studios and things making promises, and not delivering. I mean, dude, you have no idea like how much hype there was for me when they said that there's going to be a Sly Cooper movie. Yeah,
I remember when that.
I was hype, and I try not to get hype for anything. Like that's not how I don't like to be on the hype train for things, because I don't like being like on the hype train and then crashing, burning with everyone else. Yeah, I like to like just kind of be mellow and just see what happens, and if it goes up, then okay, fine, it's a game that I need to check out. If it's, if I was on the hype train and it derailed or whatever, I'm like, I wasted time waiting for this.
Yeah, that is true.
And that's how I felt with this movie. And I'm like, you guys said it was supposed to come out I think it was supposed to come out like 2018, 2016.
Yeah, I think a lot of that had to do with the Ratchet and Clank movie because it didn't do well. I think that's what happened with that, which is kind of unfortunate because they still had it planned. They should have just made it regardless of what the previous movie did, because they could have just learned from their mistakes and made a good movie.
Right, like you and I are both very hesitant right now about the Super Mario Brother movie.
Yeah,
that Illumination is making,
or the Sonic movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot. See, that's how much little faith we have as gamers in video game related movies. Not to say that there aren't good video game related movies,
but they're very little.
They're very scarce. Very scarce. Like, I think I can think of off the top of my head that the only video game movie I ever saw that I kinda even like.
Super Mario Bros. Movie. That's mine. Yeah.
I know it's yours. I know it's yours. I know. I actually saw the quest for Princess Peach.
What's that? I've never.
Oh, you never heard? You've never heard of this?
I don't think so.
Well, there's a reason you probably never heard of it. One, we never got it.
Oh,
like that's the.
Oh, is it the anime?
Yeah,
one?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I forgot about that one.
I was about to be like, damn, and you claim to be a Mario fan.
Yeah. Where they gave Luigi like a
Yellow
yellow
and blue.
shirt and then blue overalls. It kind of looked like Wario.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, oh my god, I forgot Sonic was. Oh god, it's funny that you say that because not long ago I rewatched the other Sonic the Hedgehog the movie.
Yeah. That
really was just an OVA. Let's be honest. And because I saw it a long time ago when I was little, and then I rewatched it as an adult, and as an adult I'm just like, wow.
There's a lot of adult humor in this.
There's a lot of adult. I mean, I remember the one. Even as a child, I remember the scene where Metal goes through the ship thing.
Yeah, like right up her skirt.
Yeah, basically, and the girl's freaking out, being like, "No, don't look there, you pervert." And I remember that, but I'm just like, but not just that. There's like just a lot of adult humor in it.
Yeah,
too.
it really is.
And it's just like, what?
Yeah, it's just kind of out of place because Sonic's never been the thing for that, especially not early Sonic.
No, Sonic is not a crude humor type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, especially that, like the scene where Knuckles is like, Tails, like, don't touch that. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Also, when did I wish that in every Sonic game, like, I think only one time I could think they actually had the hat. But I want Knuckles
I wish they would bring back his hat. He looked cool with that hat on. I don't
There's
care
no rhyme or reason. It's just, he has a hat.
Yeah. But I hope Knuckles is in the new movie. I would like to see Knuckles. He's one of my favorite Sonic characters.
And speaking of, you know what we forgot about? The Pokemon movie.
Oh yeah, Detective Pikachu. That's coming out soon. That's in May. So more soon than the other two.
I think it's funny. I actually watched a few clips. Not from the movie, but from the game, from Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny that the voice they actually give Detective Pikachu is that very, like, film noir type voice.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
And then they get Ryan Reynolds for the movie.
Yeah, and I'm just like...
Two very different.
And that's not to say... And again, I don't hate Ryan Reynolds and I don't hate Chris Pratt, but with Chris Pratt being in Sonic and Ryan Reynolds being in Detective Pikachu, I'm just kind of like... Hollywood, you really like these two.
Yeah, they seem to be in literally everything.
It used to be John Cena.
If John Cena voiced Pikachu, I would see that movie every day. Like, I wouldn't be able to help it.
They would make a reference to "You Can't See Me."
Oh yeah, they would have to. I kind of hope there's a reference in the movie.
Now I kind of want that.
I kind of hope there's a reference in the movie of the Pikachu with the ketchup bottle. I kind of hope that, like, makes an appearance somewhere. Or, like, if it's just a shot of Pikachu, like, trying to grab it, like, say they're at, like, a diner or something, trying to figure out the mystery or whatever that's going on, and he, like, trips and falls or something and grabs onto a ketchup bottle. I don't know. There
is a scene with him in a diner. Like, if you see in the trailer, there is a scene with him in a diner.
So, it's possible. I don't know why. I've always liked that part of the Pokemon anime or the show because they seem to really cash in on that because there was like a whole figurine set in Japan of different Pikachus with ketchup bottles. And there's like a whole song, the Pikachu ketchup song.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah. Why?
I don't know. Pikachu looks cute when he's holding a ketchup bottle.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that I love how I find it even funny that Pikachu wasn't even supposed to be the original mascot.
Yeah.
Clefairy was.
Clefairy, yeah. I like Pikachu better.
A lot of people do.
I think it's funny now that they're kind of they have a dual mascot now because they've been starting to use Eevee a lot. Not even just because of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Even a couple years before that, they've had Pikachu and Eevee like together with stuff all the time for some reason.
Well, because in Japan, Eevee is big. Yeah. That's why.
Okay.
Like,
That makes sense.
In Japan, EV is like the big thing. That's why
Yeah.
they're pushed. That's why we're seeing a lot more EV stuff over here.
Yeah.
Because again, EV over there is basically Pikachu here.
Yeah.
But that's not the same. But you know, Pikachu is still the mascot regardless.
Right.
But I'm saying in popularity, EV is what it is in Japan. But yeah, I think we've rambled enough.
Yeah, I think it was a good run.
So, thank you for listening to Use the Escape podcast. And, you know, down the line, we'll probably have him on again to talk about other things.
Yeah, hopefully.
Probably Funkos.
Yeah.
Or more video games. Who knows? But thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Game over!